What is going on, everyone? We are doing our first live session, and we're going to be doing this with our 20, or no, I'm sorry, not 20. I wish it was 20 years. Our 2-year client, Alex Cartagaines, and I'm going to get him on here. All right, so we're going to do a little question and answer. And we're going to ask Alex how his experience with Stephen Gabriel Fitness has been over the last 2 years. And if many of you don't know, I am a health and fitness coach. So, and I basically do everything remotely. So if any of you want to work with me, let's, hopefully Alex can persuade you to start your own transformation and get started. All right, I'm trying to add Alex in here. Let's see if this works. Oh, there we go. Okay, it says Alex is unable to join. Oh, yo,
Sir.
Yes, sir.
What's
There
up,
we
dude?
go. What's going on, man? How are you?
Not bad, not bad. A little bit tired, but that's like an everyday thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm super excited to have this live with you. It's our first live, both of us, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so this is going to be great. And, we just want to let everyone know how your experience together has been and, how you got from, I don't know if many of you have seen Alex's transformation, but how you've got into a bit bulky, over to getting pretty
You can
damn
tell him,
shredded.
dude, I was a big boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were definitely a big boy. And so, so let's start and, give us a quick introduction. Where do you work? What do you do for a living? And what's your age?
All right, so my name is Alex Cartagena. I'm actually a personal trainer, which has been pretty dope the last like 2 years or so. I actually work from home. So I do a combination of online programming for different clients and then some virtual like Zoom call stuff, FaceTime. And then I also have a pretty sick like garage gym. So a lot of people just come to me. I am 26. I have
Nice.
been lifting for 10 years. I started when I was like 16 or so. So it's like I've been doing this for a little while, but I feel like it's crazy. I'm like just starting to really understand like the whole fitness world.
Yeah. So let's start off and just kind of jump right into it and ask you, where were you with fitness before starting the program?
So I'm trying to think when that was. I was working as a substitute teacher over in Hamilton. I actually got my degree in music ed. So the only thing that sucks about being a teacher is the politics, right? So if you have like your dream job that you want, you have to spend so much time like doing all the grunt work, right? So for
Yeah.
me, I was doing fourth and fifth grade band, and Hamilton is such a massive district, dude. It's like 17 elementary schools. So I taught at
Wow.
a different school for each day of the week. I taught at 5 different schools. Um, and so it was rough because Hamilton is also over an hour away from me. So I'd be waking up at like 6 in the morning to get to work at like 7:30, and then I wouldn't get home until after 5 because of traffic on US 1. So that's like a long-winded way to say like fitness for me was very tough. I barely had energy to get to the gym like by the time that I was done with work. So that's when I really started packing on the weight. I was still doing like weight training and stuff like that, but no type of cardio. And it was just like at that point, it was kind of like maintenance. I hit huge plateaus. It was really rough.
Yeah. And, what was like the last straw for you before realizing you needed some help and you needed someone to help you get to what your goal is?
Um, it was probably one of those like have you ever like been binge eating and then you're like, yo, like what am I doing right now?
Yeah.
So for me, my mom knows that my weakness is Reese's Cups. So usually what she does for Christmas is she gets me like the 1 pound Reese's cups. I finished 2 in one sitting. So I was like,
Solid.
yeah. I was like, all right, like I feel disgusting. Like I need to make a change. And the other thing is like, I realized at a young age, my like frame wasn't meant to hold over 200 pounds. You know what I mean? Whether that be muscle or fat. And at that point, I was in like the 220s, and I was like, "Holy crap, dude! Like I weigh more than my dad, more than my brother. I was like the heaviest one in the family." And I was like, "Okay, like this is not good." And the other thing that I realized is you can't outwork a bad diet. And that's something that I tried to do for years. I was like, oh, it's fine. Like I have muscle. I have muscle. Yeah, it's cool. Like I need to feed like to get stronger. You know what I mean? I didn't realize back then that I didn't have to be such a slob.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that, you know, you can work out as hard as you want. You can train as hard as you can.
Yeah.
But if your nutrition isn't there and you're not on some type of meal plan and you're not following some type of structured routine that's meant for your body, then you're not going to get results, because at the end of the day, I like to say 85% of how we look is nutrition,
Definitely.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
and it's not the lack of trying, you know what I mean? Because, dude, I was working out hard. My coach at the time, Toby, he would have me do these AMRAP sets for the different lifts. And I would do like crazy sets, dude, like sets of like 23 reps for sumo deadlift or something like that. And I would be so gassed at the end. So it's not like I wasn't working hard. My diet was just that bad. And the other thing is, like, in the past, I tried a bunch of fad diets. Like I've done like intermittent fasting and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I would get like decent results, but I didn't realize at the end of the day that it's all about like being in a deficit. And so I would like try to use willpower instead of like approaching it in like a smart way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally hear you.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, that brings it to my next question is like, how did you find me?
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite stories. So
yeah, I hope he's in here, by the way. So.
Yeah, me too. So obviously, you know, my boy Ben, he was working at the UFC gym at the same time you were. And so he and I would work out together at Crunch. And there'd be a couple of times he would see you and your boy. I can't remember what the other coach, his name was, but you guys
Neil.
Yeah. No, the other coach from UFC gym.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what his name was though.
Max?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you guys would be working out together, and that's like when I first started seeing you like lifting. And I was like, oh, cool, like he knows his stuff, blah blah blah. But when I really actually like noticed you was there was one time you were trying to help Neil like get in shape, and you guys were doing an arm workout, and you guys were doing like a preacher curl drop set or something like that.
Yep.
And he kept on failing the set, and I just kept on seeing you. You're like, dude, don't give up, blah, blah, blah. Don't be soft. Like, you got this. And I fell in love with your work ethic. I was like, yo, I really like that. Like, I love how hard he's pushing and how even when it gets difficult, he knows that you got to keep on going.
That's right.
So that's when I first started to look into you, and I was like, yo, this dude, like, actually came in first place in a men's physique competition. Like, he really knows what he's doing. And so that's when I first approached you, and I talked to you about like prices and everything. And I feel like you were kind of like taken aback at first because it's just like some stranger walking up to you and like asking about it. And the other thing is like, I'm the kind of person where I like to plan ahead, but like far ahead. So like when I originally asked you, I was like, yeah, man, I don't want to start right now because I can't afford it. But like, how would you like to start at the beginning of the year? And I could tell you're kind of like, oh yeah, like, kind of giving me like an answer, not to shut me up, but like, you know what I mean? And then from there, when we actually started working together, you're like, all right, like I see this dude's like serious about it.
Yeah. And you were, I mean, like you, like from the beginning, I remember you giving me 100%. And that's like one of the biggest things for coaches, and you as a coach too, like, you know, that, you know, you want your clients to want it just as bad as you do, if not even more. You know, you have to want it more than I do. I can only want it so much for you, but if you don't want it for yourself, then you're not going to get to that next level. Right. So, and what do you think was different about my program, or like, what do you think was enticing for you?
So you were actually my second coach ever. Like I had never had
Okay.
someone for like nutritioning before, but I had someone who did like programming. Um, and like as much as I like to be like a teacher's pet, like per se, I also don't like to be like a nuisance. So having the check-ins every single week to kind of see how things were going, it really helped me because I was like, oh, like this is really cool because we're actually talking back and forth. It's not just this is something that I want you to do and go and do it, and then don't bother me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
I like to stay on everyone's butts and, make sure everyone's progressing on a weekly basis. And
yeah, definitely. And it was cool because what's it called? Again, like it's hard to do things by yourself. So to have someone like who has your back, and even if you screw up during the week, like they say, like it's okay, like let's
yeah,
figure this out together. That was definitely huge for me.
yeah,
Then on top of that, I before working with you, I didn't really know anything about nutrition. You know what I mean? Like everybody kind of knows like how to eat healthy, but I didn't realize that in order to lose weight, you have to be in a deficit. How to balance out your macros so that way you're not just eating like garbage the whole time. How to get all your micronutrients in, like all that stuff. A lot of stuff I really picked up on like while working together. And that was a cool thing too. Is like you're very transparent if the person is willing to learn. Because I've had people that are really annoying and like they'll ask you stuff just to see if you actually know what you're talking about. But it's like, no, like I actually wanted to learn this process. And you would say, as we go from week to week, this is what's going to happen. This is what you can expect. And I was like, oh, this is really cool.
yeah, yeah. And then like we got to a certain point where I was like, okay, this is how you're going to look next month, and then 2 months from now, and then 3 months.
Right.
And going back to what you were saying before, is it's so true. Like just being able to be coachable, because not everyone is coachable, right?
But
You are probably one of the most coachable people that I know, who's always willing to learn and always willing to adapt to whatever circumstances are given. So that's one of my favorite things about you.
right, I appreciate it.
Um, so where are you now in this journey? Because we've been working together for 2 years now. So like, let tell the audience about like where you are. Like how's your confidence levels like compared to before? What's your macros out? Like how are you doing? How has it helped your career?
So currently like I said, I run my own training business, which is cool because it's like I'm practicing what I'm preaching. You know what I mean? And that was also one of the reasons why I hired you in the first place, is because I wanted to become a personal trainer, but I was obese. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah,
I I can't stand when trainers like say one thing but do another, or if they're really out of shape. It's like, how can I know that I can trust you? And I'm not saying like the knowledge wouldn't be there without the looks per se, but it's like I wanted to be all in.
yeah,
Yeah. Uh, and as for like everything else, I'm doing a combination of bodybuilding training and powerlifting training. I kind of been like cycling between the two, but for the last like year or two, it's definitely been mostly powerlifting. And I'm actually really, really glad that we're working together, because something that I didn't really realize is all the stuff that you do outside of training affects your training, and especially with how you fuel your body. So like, I
yeah,
remember, of course, this is like everybody's approach. It's like you have like a really intense leg day coming up, right? So it's like, oh, I need to eat so many calories. Let me get like 2 Wendy's 4 for 4s and blah blah blah. Or I would have like an entire veggie pizza to myself. Um, but then I would just feel like garbage. But with you, like, I know I'm going into every single lift consistently feeling the same way because I have these macros that I'm hitting, because my hydration is good. Like I said, like all of the uh, vitamins and everything, like I'm getting all of it.
yeah, man. You got like the whole checklist is just check. You're just doing everything perfectly. And that's I think that's one of the most important things, is that pre-workout meal, and just
Yeah,
kind of making sure that there's enough protein, carbs, and fats in there for you to feel good while you work out. Because I know one person who would have like cheeseburgers before his workouts and just like stop at that Wendy's over there next to Crunch, and like it'd be like, that's my pre-workout. And then he would tell me, oh, like it's only been 10 minutes and I lost all my energy. And that's because, you're not eating the right types of foods.
Right.
So you always want to put that premium gas in the car before driving it. So
yeah, and I know that there's a lot of different people who have disagreements, and they're like, oh, like if it fits your macros, like as long as you're getting a certain amount of calories, you're good. To me, that, like, I know it's controversial, but to me, that's kind of bullcrap, dude. Like, you're not gonna get the same fuel from eating one food that you are from eating another. There's just no arguing that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's science that backs that up, but so speaking of that though, like what is your favorite cheat meal? Because, just so everyone knows, I do allow clients to have cheat meals, and I sometimes give clients 2 cheat meals a week, stuff like that. So what is like your biggest indulgence or cheat meal every week?
So I have a couple of go-tos, but it depends on if I'm at home or if I'm visiting my fiance. So if I'm visiting my fiance, she lives over more so in like South Jersey. So there's Uno's pizzeria. It's like deep dish pizza. I either get the Uno Classic, which is like more like veggies or whatever, but then there's also more of like a Chicago Classic, which is like sausage and like it's really, really good. So that's one. Other than that, I'm a huge Wawa head. My girl hates it.
Nice.
It's the same thing every week. And I'm like, dude, I'm a hardcore Wawa fan. And then other than that, probably wings over Rutgers. I usually cycle between those 3. And then I got to shout out my boy, Devin Baker. He makes his own ice cream, and he always hooks me up because I get these like custom orders, just like, yeah, man, what you want? And I'll tell him everything to put in it. And it's like, it's like a cup of diabetes, dude. It's so bad. It's so good.
But we're countering that, 99% of the time with good food. So it's all good.
Definitely.
But, so throughout the process, it's definitely not been easy for you. Like there's been times where you've definitely had to struggle, and you've definitely had to, dig deep in those days where it's like, all right, like we have to go on the fish, we have to lower the carbs, we have to go a little bit low in the carbs, but, you could still have your cheat meal. What was, the best tip that you could give to someone when adhering to lower calories? Like mentality wise.
So there's 2 things that really, really saved me when it came to having to really cut calories and up the cardio and really, really get off those last couple of pounds. And the first one is such an easy answer. It's hydrating, right? So I realized I can handle being hungry. Like, yeah, I'll be kind of grumpy, blah, blah, blah. But like I can handle being hungry. But if I'm dehydrated, I feel like complete garbage. So I would always make sure that I at least have like maybe like a third to like half of my gallon before training, because I feel so much better. Same thing for cardio, right? If you're going and you're dehydrated, you can't really go that far because you feel like trash. The other thing that really helped is I started to become smarter on my cheat days, right? So if I was to have a cheat meal, I realized if I want to be full, I need to eat low calorie dense foods. So I would have Smart Pop popcorn.
Nice. My man has it ready.
So they're like half bag size, like half like the size of like a normal bag of popcorn, but they're each 100 calories. So what I would do is like, if I was like starving that day and I'm like, dude, I want to freaking punch a wall, I'd make like 6 bags of popcorn. Because in reality, like the bowl is like this big, but you're only getting 600 calories. So I would still technically be in a deficit, but I would actually be full. And that would really get me through the really hard weekends. The other thing that I would say is it's hard when you're suffering through like flavor fatigue. So I actually have a couple of different things that I use as well. Walden Farms, it's 0 calorie sweetener. That helped a lot.
Shout out.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing is like you have to be careful with when you're cooking stuff, because so many people cook with a lot of oils, and it adds like 200 calories like that, like so many calories. So
2 tablespoons about.
Yeah, I would just use Pam, and you like spray it whatever, and it saves you so many calories. Other than that, I have my go-to seasonings. I am Puerto Rican, so obviously I have my Sazon Tropical. This one's more for like when you would put it on your meats and fish and everything.
Oh, nice.
And then I know a lot of people have been giving you a hard time about how come Alex gets yellow rice and blah, blah, blah. I'm not adding oils or anything. I'm just using this. And
Yep.
it's 0 calories, but the achiote like stains the rice. So like it's more visually appealing. Smoked paprika, because there was a time, dude, I can't stand like the chicken breast. I would be eating it so much, but this saved it. And then the last thing that I'll share is maple chipotle rub. I don't know if you can really see it. It's kind of blurry.
Yeah.
From Pepper Palace.
Nice.
This thing is...
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah. It's so good. And the Sazones in the Pepper Palace, it's only 75 milligrams of sodium. So I'm not like dumping salt in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the last thing I would say is probably like salsa, like the Tostito salsa, because it's only 10 calories. Like you can put a decent amount and make it taste better, but you're not, like I said, overloading all those calories.
Yeah.
Say all those things definitely help me when the calories get really, really low and the mental struggle is really there. Other than that, like for more of like the mental aspect, it's just encouragement from everybody, like my boys, my girl, my parents, to keep on going and see it through.
Yeah. And that's, dude, I really love that, because you got really creative throughout the process. And I like to, for any clients that are in here right now, listening, tuning in now or later, you know, everything doesn't have to be so black and white or so bland. You know, you can get creative with things and make food taste better, because I know, like, just think about like chicken breast every single day. Like, it sounds so boring, but if you use spices and seasonings and you get a little creative with it, then it could taste a lot better. So I'm really glad that you killed it with that. And what do you think you would tell your old self right now?
I definitely had something prepared for this too. There was 2 things. That's what it was. The first thing is do your cardio. Everybody, like, you'll have your like cardio bunnies or whatever, but everybody hates cardio. And dude, I was a hardcore, like, all you need to do is lift, bro. Just lift. Hit those heavy weights, like, you're good. And as I got older, I realized, like, not only is cardio for burning calories and helping you lose weight, but it's good for your heart. And your heart is the most important muscle. And like, the more studies that come out, it's like, if you have good cardiovascular health, it reduces your risk for disease between 3 to 5 fold, depending on like how in shape you are. So for me, I would tell my younger self, try to find a way that makes cardio enjoyable for you. So for me, the 2 things that I do are either listen to a podcast or like a YouTube video while I go for walks, or I actually have like a stationary bike, and I ride the stationary bike like while I'm playing Smash Bros or something like that. So that way I'm like not focused on like how much it burns.
That's so smart.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the other thing I would say is so many people have their priorities all screwed up. And it's so frustrating to me, because your health should be your top priority, right? And it's like, I see all these people, especially now with like the pandemic, all these people struggling. And it's like, if you would just take care of yourself, you wouldn't have all these different issues. Especially clients that have arthritis or like joint pains and stuff like that. And it's because they don't do weight training. So like the bone mineral density isn't there. So I would just say take care of yourself in general.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, I mean, I think it's so important, especially now going through you know, this thing that I forget is called, but yeah, we're going through some, and it's just so important to take care of your health and your body. And it's not just for now, right? We're talking about longevity. You know, we want, especially whoever I work with, I want them to take what you learn and take it with you for life, so you can live a long and healthy life, you know, because we see sometimes old people in our lives who are struggling, and they have to take so many different medications and stuff like that. So like, if we start now while we're young, or, you know, you start at whatever age, you know, you're just going to save yourself from so many problems down the road. And I think that's very important. Like you said, is just to take care of yourself, you know, start it, you know, don't think about it, just start. Right.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my best friends would always tell me, like, he would do something that he knows is not healthy, and he would always be like, "Oh, that's a problem for future me." And in my head,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, dude, like, it's still you. Like, you're gonna have to suffer through all these consequences. So it's like, yeah, it's not always fun and it's not always easy to do, but if you put in the work now, it's gonna pay off in the end.
Yeah. And you like, what's the best part? You look good. Like,
Right, right, right. Dude, like, that's the other thing is, like, now that I realize, like, what it takes to be lean and what it takes to be healthy, it's like, okay, you just got to do it. Like, it makes it so
yeah.
much simpler versus like before, like when I was in high school and early college, I all of my free time I spent on YouTube looking up how to program, what exercises to do, what diet to do, blah blah blah. And it's like there's
Yeah.
so much like false information out there. So I was really glad when I found you because I was like, holy crap, I feel like I just like leveled up, like unlocked like the secret cheat codes like for everything. You know what I mean? So
Wow. Well, thank you so much, brother. And just thank you for staying so committed throughout this journey and continuing onto 2022. Just so everyone knows that we're going to keep working together during this year, right?
most definitely.
All right, let's go. So, hopefully we're going to keep on going and keeping you healthy and getting you stronger, right?
Definitely.
So, before we close this up, though, do you have any final comments that you want to leave for our audience?
Um Yeah, if there's anybody struggling out there, whether it be with like your mental health, emotional health, or if you just simply don't have the confidence to get your journey started, don't be afraid to hit somebody else up. Um, there's such a big, like, I have to do everything myself mentality. And again, like, I was like that for years. I was like, my way is the right way. And then when I started getting into all these different coaches and everybody helping me out, I learned so much. So I would just say, don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be afraid to ever ask for help.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you, Alex. I hope that you have a great night. I hope everyone has a great night. So, peace and out.
All right. See you, coach.
See ya.